Hello world, it's Wednesday, June 10th. It is a warm and humid morning in Defiance. I did go to the track and do some speed work, but the humidity was quite high. And I think it was already 75 at about 7 o'clock, quarter to 7 this morning. There was a nice breeze though, which did help. I understand it may be a little stormy this afternoon, which is not unusual when the weather is like this. So try to stay cool and make sure you drink lots of water today. The devotional for today is called In the Storm. It's written by Martha Spong. And it's based on Psalm 29, verse 10, New Revised, Standard Version. The Lord sits enthroned over the flood. The Lord sits enthroned as King forever. And Martha writes, a few months after Hurricane Katrina, I traveled from Maine to Mississippi to offer respite to a pastor serving on the Gulf Coast. I offered to preach for 2 Sundays and respond to pastoral care concerns in between. I know how to do those things, and I really wanted to help, but wasn't handy enough to volunteer for rebuilding. I pulled out the lectionary calendar to begin considering what I might say. Among the scriptures for those Sundays, I found this psalm, which credits God with all glory and power and pictures God as the distant creator of all the elements of a storm, flood, and wind, and rain, and fallen trees. Sometimes metaphor hits uncomfortably close to home. I wondered what I could say about God on a throne ruling over the flood to people whose dear ones had died or lived with blue tarps where a roof should be. Wouldn't the imagery of a storm be distressing? As we live through a different kind of storm, one we have been told has the potential to return in a second wave, we may wonder the same. Is the God of storms a troubling picture? Where is God while we bury loved ones or see others struggling to recover from COVID-19? Is God distant, removed, enthroned above our human troubles? No, God is not above the troubles we experience, but is with us in them and beyond. Even in the storm, God's power gives us the strength we need. I saw it in the faces of my new friends in Mississippi, and I know I would see it in yours. Martha's Prayer. Powerful God, you strengthen us no matter what storms we face in this life. We give you the glory. Amen. Well, a lot comes to mind in this devotional. One thing that kind of strikes me is I saw yet again some quote-unquote Christian chaplain, I believe he was an army chaplain, was promoting a book in which the author talks about all the troubles in the world, especially in the United States, are indicative of our immoral lives and our acceptance of homosexuality. And I just don't understand why they see all this trouble and how they see God as this person who is so concerned about people's sex lives that God causes incredible harm to innocent people in retribution for our lack of immorality. I mean, I keep thinking if God were going to be this way, the Bible talks so much more about caring for the poor, caring for the orphans, caring for the widows, not being greedy, a lot of things that the United States is. So if God was going to do something, why wouldn't God punish those who live that kind of life that oppress other people? It just doesn't make sense. But I think Martha hits a point that God is not above the troubles we experience, and God is not the source of the troubles we experience. God is with us in the troubles. God helps us to get through. God is present in the people who help. God is present in the people who heal. Amidst of COVID-19, there's a lot of people working in the healthcare industry, be that physical healthcare or mental healthcare, who are really risking their lives to care for the sick. and the suffering. That's the presence of God. And really, each of us can be the presence of God when we reach out to one another in support in one way or another, whether it's physical support or emotional support or just being a listening ear. God works through us. And God works for good, not for pain and not for evil. So, think about that. Think about God's presence in your life through those around you. And think about how God's presence is in other people's lives through the good that you do. God is with us, and God is good all the time. Have a good day.